Today's adventure begins as the recording of this Saturday, January 25th, 2025. A beautiful day here in London, England. I'm going to do some things I have not done yet. To be completely honest, very overwhelming on how much there is to do. Being on a time frame for returning home. I'm still here a few more days, but I'm definitely going to have to return because there is so much to do here. Cannot do it all in a week, that is for sure. Sunburst. And I would imagine it'll be very busy because it is the weekend, is in full effect now. Got a few things on the agenda I want to get done, but I will probably do other things as well. Heading this direction to my first spot to hopefully see some horse guards. I've got the birds flying by there. Definitely a beehive of activity out here. Welcome everyone. Adam the Woo here. There's a few other things I would like to do. I would like to go to the Tower of London and also Westminster Abbey. And again, I see some horses and the guards. Just see where the day leads. I'm inviting you to join me. Good to have you here. Shall you? That's a proper roundabout right there. Not the one from European Vacation. Different one, but it gives those vibes. Gotta say I'm getting a little bit better with the whole jet lag thing. Got out and about by 11:30 a.m., a little after 11. It's 11:40 right now. Of course, 5-hour time difference between Florida. Florida would be 6:40 a.m. at the moment. 42 degrees right now. And it looks like it's going to be an overcast day. It's going to be a nice day. Love it. One of traditional British pubs here. This one's called the Horse and the Guardsman. For good reason, because right down here there are horses and guards. Right down here. I passed by this the other night, but I think it was so late they weren't out. I think they had already been put in for the eve. Very interesting. So even though they have the telephone boxes here, they don't call them booths, they call them telephone boxes. This kiosk is no longer in service, but they are keeping it here for future generations to see the history of them. Well, at least those are. There might be active payphones in England, but those two were not. Commander-in-Chief, 1895 passed away, 1956 was born. Don't ask what his name is because it does not state it on the side. He's just referred to as Commander-in-Chief. No name given. Could be on the other side, but just call him Commander. All right, there is a horse guard there. And there's also, looks like they're doing a little march there. I have wanted to see this my whole freaking life. Wow. That is so freaking cool. You don't want to get, you cannot get past the white line. I've seen videos of the horses biting people and the guards yelling at them, tell them step back. Man, that's freaking awesome. Back door behind the horse is now open. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to back out. The horse is going to turn around, this guy said. Oh, everyone's going around the back. Cleared out the courtyard. The bells are ringing. his officers are making sure no one gets in this little section here because they're switching out the horses. This is so dang cool. The ringing of the bells, the chimes right on the hour. Horse walks out the front. All for show, but pretty dang spectacular. All right, I gotta head over now, past Big Ben, and over to Westminster Abbey. Also, last night I was on a Harry Potter tour, and the guide took me to a spot that I could get a photo of Big Ben and a telephone box similar to this one. And he said, oh, the other one that everyone knows about and goes to, it's like a 2-hour wait for a photo, and now I see exactly what he was talking about. Look at this. My photo had a little bit more stickers on the telephone box and a lot more trash on the ground, but if you want to see that photo, it's on my Instagram, TheDailyWoo ATW. It's TheDailyWoo ATW. I posted it on there. Every one of the telephone booth boxes are very, very popular for the photo op there. Got to get that Big Ben in there. And I know Big Ben is the bell, not the clock tower itself, but I think everyone calls it Big Ben. Oh, wow. I did not expect there to be a sculpture of Abraham Lincoln here. I like it. Well, Honest Abe. Amazing building. Ceremony and funeral of Princess Diana was inside here. Always remember watching that. I was working at Kmart at that time in Kissimmee, Florida. Elton John singing, having a hard time singing the song. He wrote the lyrics to Candle in the Wind. Well, him and his partner rewrote the lyrics for Princess Diana. It's like a little bit of a line to get in there, but gonna go check out the inside. It's not the visitor entrance, it's the front. I believe it's the exit. The visitor entrance has a really long line. I did get the London Pass, which includes a lot of different attractions. This is considered an attraction. Here's a photo. Princess being carried in there through the front door. That's the same door. Same building. Good thing I'm here today because tomorrow there are no visiting times. They just have the church service reserved for worship. I'm getting in line. I think this is probably going to take at least an hour to get inside here. Also known as St. Margaret's Church. In all actuality, I was looking a little bit of stuff up while I was online, and the royal family has used this building, this church building, cathedral, for many things. Weddings, funerals, etc. Now, they do not allow filming inside. There's a big sign when you go in saying still photos are allowed, but please no filming. Talked to one of the guides inside. He was very, very helpful, sharing some info, how back in the day. So it's interesting, when I watched the Princess Diana funeral on TV years ago in the late 90s, 97, didn't realize that the place was separated into two. So you see down here, there's like a separation there. He said back in the day, there would be the parishioners of the church, the normal congregation, and then there would be the monks. The monks would be closer to the front, and the rest of the congregation would be towards the back. Very beautiful. Probably the most beautiful church building cathedral I've ever been in. I mean, ever. I think it's not even a close second that I personally have stepped foot into. So you'll see here, so closer to the front of the building is where the monks were, and then now the congregation was back here, separated by this area here. So the organist sits up top. And then the monks were all right in here. Again, just very beautiful, ornate stained glass. Just incredible. Would have been perfect to get some video in there, but there were definitely some signs saying not to, so just decided to do it this way. And I didn't realize, too, before going in there, there's also a lot of graves, like a cemetery, inside the building where the congregation meets, which is very interesting. Did not realize that before stepping foot inside there. All these different rooms you see here. Here's some of the etchings on the people that are laid to rest here. Many, many tombs inside there. Just an expansive property. Here is King Richard II. That's his tomb. There's some others as well. J. Dryden. So I found where Elton John, playing Candle in the Wind, performed. You'll notice the markings there. And you'll notice his sculpture here. So I found the exact spot that he had his piano. I'll never forget watching that performance, and I've watched it many times since. He was even getting a little emotional and choked up performing. I can't imagine what it would have been like to have millions of people then, and then from now till then, watching that performance, all eyes on you. No accompaniment, no background track, just playing the piano. But there's the spot, so if you notice that right there, and then this is what it looks like now. I mean, just seeing that, it's just incredible. And then Princess Diana laid there in her casket, right above where they're sitting there underneath that little archway seat, and this little high up pulpit, if you will, and then the staircase there. And that's it now. That's it modern day. Wow. Thought about getting another magnet, but I've already got quite a few magnets from this trip. All right, from here, I think I'm going to head over to the Tower of London, over near Tower Bridge, not to be confused with London Bridge. So I thought it was going to take an hour to get in there. It took about probably 35 to 40 minutes waiting in that line. Wasn't as bad as I thought, but definitely not a quick little walk-in. It's a weekend, so got to bring your patience for getting in some of these places. All right, got to take the tube. I I guess I've been saying it wrong. It's not the tubes. Or take the tube in the underground, which is their version of the subway.
Please stand back from the platform edge.
Mind the gap. All right, I'm getting the hang of this now. I'm here in Westminster. Need to get over to Tower Hill. So I need to get on this one, District Circle Lines eastbound, platform 2, going to Tower Hill. Mind the gap. Just be sure to mind the gap. The gap refers to the gap between the subway and the platform. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. That's the correct terminology they use when you're getting off. It's like a really large sundial, so I'm going to spray paint it here. Yeah, it is a really big sundial. And across the way, I think that's it right there. That's the Tower of London. Definitely has a interesting history, to say the least. Not only was it a prison, a lot of people's lives were ended there. Some pretty horrific ways. So the moat is all grown over now. They don't use it for water anymore. All right, heading through again. I have the London City Pass, which includes a mess load of attractions. I got it for the duration of my stay, so I just show that, scan in that way instead of having to buy tickets to all these things.
Now then, before we carry on, those of you that haven't been inside the complex already, just a few words of advice. Be careful of the cobbles, uneven surfaces. He was crowned King William I of England on Christmas Day of 1066 after his famous victory over Harold at the Battle of Hastings. He used the tidal flow of the River Thames, so twice a day and wash into and around the moat in order to keep it clean. And that system seemed to work rather well at first. However, Master Volta wasn't the expert that he thought he was. Now thankfully us English, we're an efficient nation, aren't we? And we only let that situation continue for the next 500 years. True story.
So the moat used to be a cesspool of poop.
Permanent scaffold erected up there in 1465, which caused much concern in the city. Over the years, no less than 75 men of noble birth, that's as well as all the other ne'er-do-wells and low-life, 75 men of noble birth were to be executed up there by block and axe alone, having their heads chopped off. Wow. The first victim in 1381 was a man called Simon. Oh, that's a strong one. Behold the head of a traitor! So die all traitors! God save the king! It's a little bit better, but there's still room for it.
This is incredible.
That is to say, between the inner and outer ballium, or defensive walls. The inner wall is 50 feet high, the outer wall behind you is 28 feet thick. If you look this side, you can see Mint Street, so named because it was here that all the coins of the English and Irish realm were designed and produced until about the year 1810 when we moved them up the road to the Mint and St Catherine's Dock. Then apples and people used to float up and down this street.
Sir Isaac Newton used to work right over here, or live right over here, and work in the tower.
That way, you can see a tall, narrower archway than the one through which we have just passed. It's known as the
His office was right up there.
to detonate a supply of gunpowder to get us and unload their cargoes in safety. Therefore, this gate was originally known as the Water Gate. Would have been a lot deeper than you see it today. Remember, everything's been raised up because of that fire.
Originally called the Water Gate.
It's full depth. Another 15 feet deeper than that. Really imposing Water Gate.
Get him inside.
There's Tower Bridge right there. From inside the London Tower.
Five of that 7 were female and 3 of that 5 were Queens of England. So before I tell you about them, let's point out a few more of the buildings up here on the tower scaffold was for her execution. Queen Anne Boleyn was the first Queen of England to be found guilty of high treason and executed. It doesn't matter what we think now, it happened then. She was found guilty of trumps-up charges of
So it's all right here in this little courtyard. Notice the church steeple, the bells here. There's a little bit more. There's a sculpture behind me. Marks the spot where Queen Anne Boleyn was thought to have been executed in 1536. Right here. Not just her, but a lot of other names here. Malcolm McPherson, Samuel McPherson, Highlander Shaw, Lady Jane Grey. Please do not use that tomb as seating. It would have been really cool to go inside this building, but again, they got some refurb going on in there.
Osmo. Is that Osmo?
It is, yeah. It's a little video camera.
No, we have one.
Oh, you have one too?
I also have one too. Triple, Osmo,
Oh, yeah.
triple.
Here, I'll film yours.
Sorry, can I take a photo?
Of me?
With the Osmo? 你们俩在一块。Yes.
We're both getting photos? Okay.
It's really cool. 关门了吗？
All right. Crown jewel time. Oop, I don't think I can take photos in here. It says no photos in here.
Yes, because it's all like fancy jewels.
No old school telephones either. And no hamburgers. No videoing, no photos. Okay, it's all for my own human eyes. All right, that was kind of interesting. To be honest, I'm not really too excited about jewelry and jewels and all that, but some of the crowns with all the history on it was neat. There was a lot more in there than I was expecting. Here are some monkeys. Made out of, looks like some sort of like, not paper mache, but like a metal mache. Evidently this is the slow season, I guess you could call it, even though there's a lot of people walking around London. I've heard during the summer the tourism is even a lot more intense crowd-wise. And this would be proof of that. Look at the queue here. The extended queue just to see the crown jewels. So it's a 25-minute wait just from here. I just walked right in. Fascinating. Some of those crowns in there were just very intense. I'm gonna tell her what some of those things are worth. That's a big crow. That is a big crow. It's like the size of a dog.
Yeah, but it'll eat a dog. It would eat a dog.
It'll eat a dog?
It would eat a dog. Oh, wild beast. Look, see, Dad's chasing him.
This is engraved with a monogram of King George III and that of Charles I, Marquis Cornwallis, General of Ordnances. They're closing the door. Gonna lock me in here?
Where are we?
Excuse me.
Hello.
Now. You should have looked in the shop.
The shop's in here.
Yeah, we can. Oh. Is that not fair? That picture of that?
Okay, close it up.
Picture of what?
Beasts. It's like a polar bear. Oh yeah, look at this. King Henry III received a polar bear, the King of Norway. Wow. And exit through the gift shop. Thank you. Oh, you actually go through the gift shop to get out? So it's not just a clever saying. You actually have to funnel through the gift shop. Got some pretty good merchandise in here, though. Having trouble getting it off. There we go. Got all the crows. The ravens, I should say. The ceremony of the keys, the mighty battlement, the White Tower, the Bloody Tower, the keys there. Got these little goblets here, these little drinking cups. Look at this thing. It's like a knight's hand. That's awesome. Yeah, so you give like a proper toast. I was never going to give a toast. I'd want to do it in this one. Here, here, cheers. That is, that's an epic drinking glass. Rum and other items. Looks like the ravens are the main mascot. I could fancy myself wearing one of these little headwear here. A fancy little eating place here, the Copa Club. These little like spherical glass tops of the glass balls there. I think I'm gonna walk over to St. Paul's Cathedral. About a mile from here. Place I want to check out. since I've gotten into town. I haven't yet. This banner states that All Hallows by the Tower is the oldest church in the city of London. That is fascinating. These might be crypts too. Not sure. Oh wow, there is a pub by the name of the Hung, Drawn, and Quartered. It's interesting to have a pub named after doing that. You know, when I think of England, I think of London, I think of Mary Poppins. Classic film. And one of the most iconic songs from that movie, Sherman Brothers soundtrack, Feed the Birds, took place right here at this cathedral. Now, they did not show up here and film the scene with the lady feeding the birds for tuppence a bag. They did, however, use it as an artistic rendering, probably like a painting of some sort behind her. They had her on the staircase, and they had St. Paul's Cathedral behind her as Julie Andrews sang the song, and over her vocal rendition and narration had the bird lady feeding the birds. And one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite Disney songs, I should say, just gets me every time. When I was at D23 Expo this last year, they had an artist, I can't remember who it was, but they did a cover of it, and the entire arena just kind of went silent. It was just everybody just really was taken back by the performance and the song, and it was Walt's favorite song. He would go and listen to the Sherman Brothers play that on the piano in Burbank at the studios. That song just kind of really just hits home. There's just something about it. It's just very somber and beautiful and amazing. Under the backdrop, St. Paul's Cathedral here in London. I am curious if there are any pigeons around and if there is a bird lady feeding the birds. I gotta find out. What a beautiful scene. I recently rewatched Mary Poppins, I don't know, probably 6-7 months ago. Again, it was actually right after Richard Sherman passed away. I ended up watching Mary Poppins and Saving Mr. Banks, and that scene definitely hits you right in the feels. There it is, right there. Iconic. What a magnificent structure. The churches here, the cathedrals, I should say, are next level. See all the foliage that usually stretches along the vines here on the side. Obviously, right now, this time of the year, not a lot of greenery, but kind of interesting. All the vines have just taken over this wrought iron fence right here at the base of the cathedral. I'm not seeing any pigeons though. Wow, look at the sunset over there. Beautiful. Didn't notice it when I was walking over in that area, but now that I stand up here a little more elevated here next to this sculpture, this little waterfall there of sorts. Well, not a waterfall, but a fountain of sorts there in the foreground. Kind of a little shopping center mall. It's multi-level, right across from the cathedral. And I have been told by quite a few people that I know that Nando's is really good. So I found a Nando's in the general area of where I was, and I am going to get a bite to eat from Nando's right here. Not exactly what I'm in store for, but I think they have chicken and other assorted things. And to be honest, I don't know if it's 100% a place that's in the UK, but I've heard that when you're in London, you should try Nando. So I'm giving it a try. Going in on the Nando's. Nando apostrophe S. I'm spelling everything out that I'm saying because I know a lot of things around here, when you say something, it's not necessarily as phonetically how it is spelled, but yeah, Nando's. All right, got my leftovers with me. Have a little chicken snack later. Food is really good. I liked it. All right, gonna take the St. Paul station now. Take the tube. Head back over towards Piccadilly. Platform 1, 2 stops to Holborn, and then from Holborn I'll walk over to Piccadilly. I don't think it's that far. Or I can connect with another one, but I'll probably just walk it once I get to Holborn. All right, arrived at Holborn. And I'm just gonna hoof it.
Luggage, hold the handrail 2.
Luggage, hold the handrail 2. Luggage, hold the handrail 2.
Evidently they want luggage to also hold the handrail. We're getting over to Piccadilly. There's Leicester Square, also spelled nothing like you would pronounce it. Well, at least I would pronounce it in the US. It's part of the theater district, and I was realizing, I'd noticed that not only have done a lot of premieres there, yesterday I was talking about all 8 of the Harry Potter films, well, all 7 films, all 8 parts were over in that square, but also in 1990 there was a Back to the Future 3 premiere, and Princess Diana attended, and I think they even did in 85, they did 90 for part 3. I think they also did the premiere there for the royal family in 85. I guess the royal family really liked Back to the Future. I figured I'd just throw that in because talking about Princess Diana, I went to the spot to the Cathedral where she had her memorial or funeral at. It's hopping down here, by the way. It's hopping.
When the people who created you should be paying it. They created the liability by having unprotected sex. That moment, they created a huge liability. And then they fed you with the rubbish that they were sending you to school to educate you, which is not the truth. They sent you to school to babysit you because they couldn't look after you themselves because they had to work, right, or whatever. And then in school they taught you that when you're 18, that's it. They don't take care of your rent anymore. Why? Why do your parents stop paying your rent at 18? Why? They should be paying it all the way along till the day you die because they brought you here.
And that's the theater I was referring to where Princess Diana went inside for the premiere of Back to the Future 3, and I think in 85 for Back to the Future 1. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.